What's up guys, I'm the Sheila Skater and today we are here in the Shit Magazine series to have an interesting and different dynamic. Today we are going to have an interview with a very important reference of the skateboarding world, of the woman skateboarding world. She is a pro skater, she's an entrepreneur, she's an activist of the skateboarding world, of the woman skateboarding world. She is Amelia Brodka. And we are glad because today we have the opportunity to have Amelia Brodka in this new section of the Shit Skateboard Magazine series. How is the community of the girls at this moment in the skateboarding world? We are going to check it because Amelia is a big reference, if the reason why many girls are skating right now. This is the Shit Skateboarding Talks, and today we will talk with Amelia Brodka. Who is Amelia Brodka? Let's see some footage.
In 2002, my family and I went to the X Games in Philadelphia, and I had never seen girls skateboarding before. And I was like, what? I want to do that. I want to skateboard. I fell in love with skateboarding. I skated all the time. I got invited to be an alternate at the women's vert contest at the X Games. It just motivated me to skate more and to work harder and to try to get in as a competitor for the following year.
This skateboarder girl is showing skills not only in the board, but in the activist part of skateboarding. She has a cause, and it's a very big cause. She is empowering a lot of girls. No more time for introductions. Let's meet Amelia Brodka and let's start with this skateboarding interview. The Shit Skateboarding Talks. Welcome to this. Okay, what's up, the skateboarding world? I'm the Sheila Skater. I'm here for Shit Magazine, and today we are going to talk about skateboarding with a very special guest. She is Amelia Brodka. She's just a pro skater, she's an activist, she's the reason why many girls are skating right now, a film director. What else, Amelia? Can you introduce yourself, please?
Hello, thank you for the very sweet introduction. I love skateboarding and I want to share it with as many people as I can. So I'm very grateful for the opportunity.
Okay. You are from Poland, is that right?
Yes, I was born and raised in Poland, and then my family moved to the States when I was about 8 years old.
Okay, I want to start with that question. What do you think about the skateboarding world or the skateboarding community in Poland? In making a comparison with USA, what do you think?
The skateboarding culture is definitely growing in Poland. There's a lot of really good skateboarders, and they're getting more and more skate parks all the time. And now they have support from the Polish Skate Federation to support the skateboarders there that are doing really well, and it's been really cool to see it grow. I feel like every time I go back to Poland, I see more and more skate parks and more skateboarders, so it's really cool.
Okay, but you think that they have the support they can? If I travel to Poland to make like a career in skateboarding, do you think that I have opportunities, or what is your advice for someone who wants to travel with skateboarding and have to choose between Poland and another country?
I mean, unfortunately, it's still easier in Southern California because there's so much of skateboarding is about just connecting with the people who are the leaders in the industry, and most of the industry is still in Southern California. So there are more and more brands, European-centric brands kind of popping up over there. And I feel like there's more exposure now of skaters from Europe, because various companies like Etnies and so forth, they have riders all over the place. but usually they've just been focused on featuring the ones from the US, especially Southern California. But now there's more and more opportunity to be seen and supported as a skateboarder if you're out in Europe, maybe Poland specifically. But I think it's still, if you're here, it's a bit easier because you get that face-to-face interaction with people who are really making the decisions. So that, it always helps to actually know the people and to be more intricately tied with the community.
Oh,
but I think
excuse me.
I was wondering what that was.
Yeah.
It's a good background. I was like, oh, did he set that up? Is that a Zoom background?
Okay. I understand what you say. And talking about the opportunities that we have as skateboarders, do you think that what is the best strategy for being like very recognized in skateboarding? The contests or the video parts? What do you think between both strategies, if we can call it like that?
I think it depends on the attention that you're looking for, right? I feel like some of the bigger brands that are kind of outside of skateboarding, like the Red Bulls or whatever, they probably prefer competition. But if we're talking about core brands, core sponsorship, then video parts are, kind of the way to go. So I still think that there's a lot of value in the video part, but there's more and more value in competition too, as it's becoming more of an Olympic thing that just draws a different type of sponsor. So I think both routes work. It just depends probably what you enjoy more or how you want to do it.
Okay, I agree with that. And you talk about the Olympics, and I don't know, are you going to represent Poland in the Olympics? Are you going to participate in the Olympics? Obviously the next year, because 2020 was pretty weird. It was I don't know, a bad year for that.
I've done a bunch of the qualifying events for the Olympics so far, and representing Poland, and I've done pretty well in the rankings so far. So I think it would be an amazing opportunity to go. There are still a couple of qualifiers left. Hopefully they'll be able to do them in early 2021. So, I mean, we'll see. It's like up in the air. I mean, they think it's going to happen next year, but who knows?
Okay. I hope you can skate there. What do you think? You are an activist of skateboarding. In this time, in this moment of your career, are you focused on being an activist or more focused on your technique as a skateboarder?
I suppose it's always been a little bit of both. But when I started on the path of activism and doing something like creating the Underexposed documentary, I was fully focused on that. I would skate, but my focus was the documentary. And then after that, my primary focus was exposure and creating events to help support women and girls in skateboarding. So I feel like a lot of my energy, maybe like 8 to 10 years ago, was fully on that, and I would still skate. And it wasn't until about like a year or so ago that I started to be able to focus on my own skateboarding more, because I'm starting to see a lot of the changes that I wanted to see, more support for women skateboarding, more representation for women skateboarding. Our nonprofit was doing really well. So recently I've been able to kind of just focus on my own skateboarding more, which has been really nice.
Okay. And you found it, talking about that nonprofit and what you have done as an activist, you found that exposure back in the 2012, in 2012. And how was that project? How do you have had that idea in that moment? How was that moment?
Well, it kind of came from finishing Underexposed, because the Underexposed documentary was kind of a way for me to study like what needs to be done in order to get more support for female skateboarders and get them more exposure. And then after the video was done and I had kind of talked about how the way that I've seen women getting featured in skateboarding was through competition, and then all the competitions were canceled. And so that was like one of the main complaints of the documentary. So then when the documentary was finished, I was like, oh, well, why don't I just make an event then if I'm complaining about there being no events? So it started as an event, and it turned into a nonprofit where we also give back to communities in need. We always support survivors of domestic violence, and our youth program supports a lot of causes like the homeless and anti-bullying and things like that. And it just kind of evolved from, oh yeah, let's just do an event because there aren't any. And it kind of morphed into us wanting to do more with skateboarding and more for women and girls in skateboarding.
Okay, yeah, I understand that. How was the experience of directing that film? Was a hard work, or was a process that you always enjoy from the beginning, on just having fun, or was a little stress? I don't know. What do you think about that experience?
Making the documentary was a lot of work. I worked on it with Brian Lynch, and he and I both kind of split the work of editing and all that. But just getting the interviews, just getting the footage, just watching hours and hours of footage. And I didn't have any experience in film or editing or anything like that.
Okay.
So yeah, I just kind of learned as I went. I think you could see it because it's not like some amazing quality film, but it was just about like, I just really wanted to get that message out there because, you know, I was frustrated and I was seeing so much growth on the women's side of things, but it was just like, oh, why don't people see this? And it was like before social media was really as prevalent as it is now. So, you know, all these girls and women had no way to kind of like showcase the progression that was happening.
Talking about the impact, how was that impact in the skateboarding community? After that documentary,
I think it was good. The point of it was just to get people talking and thinking about women's skateboarding and women's representation in the sport. And so that was the point. And it did that. Like, we had screenings where we invited people from the industry, and it started those discussions, it started those conversations. Because I think before, you know, the whole skateboarding industry was very like hyper masculine and just, you know, focused on what dude was doing the next biggest stair set. And it was just kind of like, it was very focused on something very specific. So I think it got people thinking about, you know, who else is skateboarding and how those people are doing and how they're progressing the sport in a different way. So yeah, I think at least got people talking, and that was really the goal.
Yeah, I think that's important. And how is skateboarding? Why is skateboarding? How was that experience? What inspired you to be a skateboarder back in the days? A strong experience with the skateboarding, maybe a reference, someone who look in a competition, and you say like, oh my God, I have to be a skater too.
Yeah. So when I started getting interested in skateboarding, it's around the time where like Tony Hawk landed the 900, his video games were coming out. I would see it everywhere, and I always thought it was really cool. So I kind of like tried to skate with my friends, but then it wasn't until I saw another female skateboarder skating at a really high level. I went to the X Games because they had it near my house on the East Coast. It was in Philadelphia. I went with my family, and my friends and I were just kind of walking around, and we stumbled on a women's vert demo. and just seeing Lindsay Adams Hawkins. She was my age at the time, and she's doing like these huge airs. She's doing like inverts and kickflip indies, and for some reason, like it never occurred to me that, you know, that was accessible to me as well. But in that moment when I saw that, I was like, oh, I want to do that. Like that's possible. So that's when I got really, really fired up on it, and I just became obsessed.
I like that. And how was that? Because in that moment, I think that skateboarding was difficult for the woman. Maybe people. I think that our people are still thinking in that way. They say like skateboarding is not for girls, but I think that it was worse in that age, in the early, in that year. And how was that feeling?
It was interesting. Like I got super into it, and then I wanted to skate with the skaters in my town, but they just kind of like would call me a poser and said I didn't really skate, and it was just based on the fact that I was a girl, which was kind of ridiculous. And then once I did start like learning good tricks, and I kind of wanted to show them. I was like, oh, I just learned tray flips. Like maybe now they'll think I'm a real skater. And then they would just say like, oh, well, you must be secretly a dude because you're skating like that. And I'm like, what? I can't win. Like, I just want to be a part of this community. Like, you know, be accepted. So it was weird at first. It might have also been like the culture of the East Coast at the time, but yeah, it wasn't very welcoming at first. I think that now it's so much more welcoming for girls who are trying to get into skating, at least here.
I think that from what moment people start to accept you as a skateboarder, when you start to have the skills, maybe a tree flip, maybe something invert, maybe what, in which moment did the people start to say like, oh, she's a serious deal, she's nice?
That's a good question. Honestly, I feel like it wasn't until I moved to California. Maybe it's just the culture here is a bit more welcoming, but on the East Coast, like most of the time I didn't really feel like a part of the skate community there. I always felt like I had to like prove myself to the guys to like be one of the skaters, and like I wasn't even friends with a lot of the skaters in my school. So yeah, it always kind of felt like a little bit on the outside. Maybe it wasn't until I started skating with more girls and met more girls that skated. But yeah, it took a while, but I just love skateboarding, so I didn't really care.
We love skateboarding. That's the only thing that matters. You mentioned it, a very, a very popular word in our community, and is being a poser. Do you think that word exists? Because I don't know. What is your definition of poser?
When I was starting to skate, we called people posers if they wore like an independent shirt or a Thrasher shirt or skate shoes and they didn't skate. But now I'm like, well, good that they're wearing that because they're supporting the skate industry. So who cares if they don't skate? They want to wear that. But it just felt like, at the time, it felt like people were trying to identify as a skateboarder without actually doing the skateboarding. And that's why it was like, it felt like such an insult, because like in my heart, I was like, I am a skateboarder. I'm not a poser. But honestly, I haven't heard that term in so long. So I don't know if it's really a thing anymore.
Yes, haters gonna hate. It's interesting because there are, I don't know, for example, I was watching a post today in the barracks, and was a pretty beautiful girl that was trying a tray flip,
and she was like 10 tries, and then she landed a trap flip. But definitely she needs to work on her style. But there were a lot of haters in this publication, in the comments, saying like, hey, this is the barracks, why a girl, okay, she's beautiful, but it's the only thing that matters, that she's beautiful and is trying to skate. And I don't know, what do you think about this? A woman that maybe is not, maybe doesn't have too much skills, but we can see the passion in what she's trying. What do you think about these people, or this situation?
Yeah, I've seen it a lot in terms of kind of more girls getting a lot of support or visibility for their skating. They're probably very attractive but just learning to skate. And I think that it kind of opens up the doors in another way. Whereas in the past, it felt like if you want to be a skater, you still kind of had to dress masculine and present yourself like a little bit edgier and more masculine. But now, seeing the recognition like that these women are getting, they're also showing like you could be super feminine and like you could be like super hot and wear, whatever, very just revealing clothing or whatever, just be really feminine and show that off and skate. And I think that's good because it shows other girls like, hey, if you maybe skating wasn't for you because you didn't like that style of like, dressing masculine or being kind of grungy, and that deterred you from skating, then now like you see like all kinds of people represented, whether it's however you want to dress or however you want to present yourself. But I do understand like people being like, oh, this is the barracks, like you should be at a certain level to be
Yes.
featured by the barracks. But I don't know, I mean, skateboarding's kind of moving away from that. It's just more, yes, progression is super important, but it's also about the personalities within skateboarding and the people that are skateboarding.
Yes, and the passion that we show for learning. It doesn't matter if it takes 1 year to do the first ollie. It's just the feeling that we can see when that skater is trying the tricks. Don't you think that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's what skateboarding is all about. That's what I try to tell people who are kind of, when they're getting into skateboarding, they're kind of nervous to like go to the skate park and not be good. They're like, oh, but I suck. And I'm like, who cares? Like if you went to a skate park, you would realize nobody cares like how how few tricks or something. Like they're gonna cheer for you if you're trying something you've never done it before. People are gonna be stoked when they see you finally get that, because everybody can relate to that feeling, whether they're doing something insanely hard or whether they're doing something more basic. Like it's all the same fight.
That's true. Talking about the support that you give to the girls, how was or what is that experience that you enjoy the most, supporting a girl, that you feel like, oh, I'm doing something for the skateboarding community? Do you have any experience that you want to share with us?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the exposure events, like arriving on the day of, so me and my co-founder Leslie Cohen, we started it 8 years ago, and at first we'd show up and we'd see like 30 girls, like, oh, that's so cool. And then it got to the point where by like 2015 we would come to the event and there's like 160 girls, and just seeing them like, it was, from all over the world, and they're all in one place, and it's like the energy of it, and they're like cheering for each other, and they're meeting each other for the first time. Maybe they've known each other through Instagram, but now they actually get to hang out and they get to like make new friends, and just kind of, it brings the community all together, and everybody can share in that and share in each other's victories and support each other if they're nervous. That's always been like the coolest thing, just seeing everybody, this whole global community get together. So yeah, Leslie and I have always been grateful to see that.
How inspiring! I like that. How is the process? Do you recruit the girls, or they have to send you like a clip and you?
No, it's just,
your
it's open.
plans?
Yeah, if you can get here, you know, which I know isn't easy for everybody to travel out here just for a contest, but you know, we try to make the prize purse worth it so that maybe people can cover their expenses. But yeah, it's just open. We encourage as many people to join. So.
Okay.
But this year, instead of doing that, it's just, you know, maybe not the best time for everybody to get together, or, you know, not every country can travel right now. So this year we're doing a video part competition in which girls from all over the world, they submit a video part, an original one, and it could be for best video part in street, in transition, 14 and under, 15 to 9, 30 plus, those are the categories. Or you could do a best crew video, get together with your friends, make a little edit, and we'll be doing a $40,000 prize purse for that. So that should be fun.
And it's only for girls. It's only for girls, obviously.
For girls, you know, or trans women, anyone who identifies as female, honestly.
Okay. I understand that. It's something that the women have to do in this year. Actual footage.
Something to look forward to.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what are the expectations for exposure on the next year, in 2021?
You know, hopefully by then things will be back to normal. Get together again, because that's, you know, that's the best part. So I'm hoping for that. You know, if not, then I think this video contest is going to be really exciting because we'll see people, new people, we'll see new tricks, we'll see people really pushing themselves like out in the streets. And I think that for the most part, a lot of female skateboarders have been mostly focused on competition as a means to be a skateboarder or to progress in skateboarding. But I think that focusing on a video part, it can really kind of open up their eyes to a new way and get them out of their comfort zone. So I'm excited to see what's going to happen.
Okay, we are excited and see what happened. What do you think if I told you, or have you ever think about taking exposure like a man division in the contest, or you are just focused on the girls? What if I told you like, hey, I'm going to give you a huge money, I don't know how to call it, for that? Would you accept, or your cause is just for girls?
I mean, skateboarding is always for everyone, and the reason that we started was because we didn't see enough support for the girls, so that's why we focused on the girls. I think like if we did have a much bigger budget, you know, and we could include everyone, you know, we would. Or
okay,
yeah, I'm not opposed to including the guys, definitely not, but that's kind of always been our focus, and it's quite hard to fundraise just for what we do as it is. So
okay, I like that. And do you want to be like a coach of skateboarding, maybe, or maybe you are right now a coach, or what do you think about being a coach, like taking a skater and empower her or empower him, like, hey, you can do it, you have to do more like this? Do you like that?
Yeah, I've definitely done a lot of skateboard instruction before, and right now I'm part of stomp sessions where we're doing virtual skateboard tutorial videos. So I've been working on that, and I do really like it. I tend to be someone who's very analytical. So when I'm learning a trick, I think about all the parts of it. So it makes it easier for me to explain it to others. And I like teaching, but only if the person really wants to skate. Because there's definitely been times where I'm teaching somebody and they're not super interested. And I'm like, well, if someone's really fired up, you know, I think it's really fun, and it's rewarding to share kind of what you've learned.
Yes, that's important. And talking of that, can you help me with an advice? I need to do a hand plant invert ramp. What would be your advice? Your first advice? We don't have like a board and an invert ramp here, but what can be that advice for doing a hand plant? I'm too scared.
Yeah,
This
well,
is a random
my
question.
first
It's just something that I need to ask you.
Of course. My first piece of advice would be that it's going to be easier if you learn with knee pads.
Okay.
Because it's kind of, it's easier. It's a bit easier to bail that way. Because if you have to bail and running out, you're flipping yourself over, and then you have to flip yourself over on your feet to run out. So that'd be my first piece of advice. My second piece of advice would be to start with the basic invert, so grabbing mute and then planting with your backhand.
Okay,
And
I
then
can
doing
try
it
in flat ground for getting the skills before the version, or no? Your advice is now go to the
No,
version.
because straight to vert ramp. Like, even if it's smaller than vert, it's harder. Like on a vert ramp, it does most of the work for you.
Okay.
Yeah, it seems scarier, but actually you have so much more time, and it's less effort to like get yourself upside down. Whereas if it was a smaller transition or no transition, it's way harder.
Okay.
So yeah, definitely knee pads on a vert ramp. Do the basic invert where you're
And a
grabbing
strong
mute.
arm. It's not necessary to have, because I saw it and I see like, oh my god, I need to work out. It's not necessary.
No, it's kind of you're not really like holding yourself up on your hand that much.
Okay.
It's really like you're basically using the momentum of the ramp to then turn around your hand. It's more like doing a cartwheel. It's more like doing a cartwheel than a handstand and standing on your hands.
Okay.
So it's all about the momentum.
I understand. I will try that advices. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Do you like, because you're a bird skater, do you like the street? What happened when I say you, hey, Amelia, let's go to those stairs or to that handrail? What do you think about street skating?
I skated a lot more street when I started skateboarding in New Jersey. We didn't have a lot of skate parks at the time. So I started mostly on street, and I did skate some stairs when I was younger. The maximum stairs I tried to ollie a 12 stair. I didn't make it.
But
I never hit like a.
Effort. You put like you.
I tried, yeah. No, I tried. I don't know, kick flipped a 4 stair. That's about as much as I kick flip. I've never done like a real street handrail. I've done like fake skate park street handrails. But yeah, I was into it for a while, but then I kept getting hurt a lot on street, like ankles, and on that 12 stair I like broke my heel bone. Like, it was so stupid. I had like the worst injuries like skating street.
Yes.
So
can you tell us about your injuries? I have an injury, a serious injury in my knee. I broke my knee and I have to quit skateboarding for a year. That's horrid. It's a very unfortunate experience, but the important is that we are here and we are able to continue with this. What can you tell us about the injuries?
I honestly, like, I try to forget that I've ever been injured as soon as I'm better. So I don't really want to go into it because it's going to be long and depressing. But the best thing is that the body is super good at healing, and that's something that skateboarding teaches you.
Yes.
It's a patience process involving patience to get better.
Okay.
But you kind of learn how to stay healthy. But no, it came to a point where I wasn't having as much fun in street. Like, I just wanted to like film and do stuff that seemed really cool, but I didn't have fun while I was jumping stairs or like trying to flip trick downstairs. And then when I moved to California, and it was all these pools and vert ramps and bowls, and it just became so much more fun, and so I just started focusing on that. I mean, I skate a lot of flat ground still because I love it.
Oh, that's flat ground too.
Yeah, it's so good.
And what is your
other than
favorite
that, yeah, I don't know. I just kind of fizzled away from it. Maybe give me a tiny flat bar. I'll have fun on that, or a curb. But aside from that, that's as much.
And you have it in your home, your backyard skate park, all these flat bars. Yes.
We have a little. It's not really a flat bar. It's like it's like kind of like a skinny ledge for you can do board slides or whatever.
It's safer than a flat bar, or more than safer is easier.
It was easier to build. Like, we were during quarantine, we just wanted stuff that we can skate in the yard, but a flat bar costs like $400.
What?
The thing that my husband made, yeah, it's crazy. But the thing my husband made, it's like two 2x4s and like a butter bench on top, and that probably cost like $70. So yeah, it was more economical, and you could still do board slides.
Okay,
yeah.
I like that. So if you want to skate, you can do it. It doesn't matter the COVID right now for you, because you have elements to skate in your home. Yeah.
Yeah, we feel so fortunate for that. When COVID first started, we just had the mini ramp, which was great. Love the mini ramp, but the longer it went on, we're like, we have to build stuff. We're gonna go crazy.
Else.
Yeah. So we built some extra quarter pipes. We have like 2 little boxes, and then we have a curb, and then the board slide ledge. So it's fun. Yeah, it's been fun.
My dream has been always to build a mini ramp back in my home. Do you think? But I think that the first thought that come to mind when we think, okay, we need to build a ramp, is that it's a difficult process. Do you think it's difficult as we think, or it's more easy?
I can't say, because my husband has built all this stuff. He's so good at it. And he knows like what kind of transition works well, or what height box works well, because he's an amazing skateboarder himself. So I can't take any credit for building this stuff. I maybe screwed in a couple screws.
That's support.
So I don't know. I think that you can learn, So
yeah.
All you need is like a drill, a saw, and some wood.
Okay, I understand. And talking about your husband, I just watched I think that the marriage proposal, the most unique marriage proposal was I loved your reaction. You were like, what is oh my God, and was like, how was that experience in that moment?
That was like the best thing that's ever happened to me, honestly. It was perfect. I was very surprised and really excited, because I was hoping he would propose sometime soon. So it was so well done. Like, we met at that bowl, so doing it there was just it was perfect for us, and I was shocked, and yeah, it was amazing. Definitely, probably one of the best moments of my life. So very lucky.
Well, lucky. And how is the experience of being married with a skateboarder? Do you have skate dates, or maybe
We have
like
skate dates. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, sometimes we'll like go to a new park together, and that's super fun. And it's just great to be with somebody who completely gets it. You know, like if I'm super frustrated because I spent 3 hours on a trick and I didn't land it, you know, he understands like the emotional anguish of that. And on the other hand, like he understands that I have to travel to skate, and he's really supportive, and he's such an amazing skater too. You know, he can always help me out if I'm trying a new trick. And yeah, it's fun to always have a skate buddy, and it's definitely a good time.
I think that this, yeah, is a pretty nice experience to have a skateboarder as couple.
Yeah.
Do you have a skateboarding plans with him? You build the stuff like bird ramps, and I think that you have made contests maybe. And are you thinking like in a brand or something that you can do with your partner?
No, we just want to skate. I mean, he does help a lot with exposure, you know. That's unfortunate for him because I'll always ask, like, oh, do you think this is good? Do you think this makes sense? Like, you know, he's always giving me his advice about what he thinks we should do with exposure. And, you know, he works at the skate park project, which used to be called the Tony Hawk Foundation. So he helps get skate parks built in low-income areas. So we both work in skateboarding, but starting something ourselves, I don't see us doing that. You know, I think it's just great when we get to skate together.
Okay, and talking about the projects, what kind of projects are coming for Amelia Brodka? Do you have
We'll
projects
see.
for more than exposure, because exposure is just a whole thing? Are you thinking in another projects maybe a spoiler or of something that is going to come? Or...
Yeah, I mean, working with some stuff, working on some things with a couple of sponsors. So that will be coming in the next year, which should be good. And definitely trying to skate as much as I can. And I don't want to say too much beyond that because things aren't ready to be said. But yeah, surprises will come. And yeah, honestly, just trying to keep pushing with exposure and pushing with my own skating. So good times.
Okay. Which kind of advice can you give to all those kids that are thinking like that are having like something like bullying, or they are just thinking like I want to quit skateboarding because I'm not too good at this? What is your advice for these people, for the new brand skaters and the girls, obviously?
I think at the end of the day, you have to go with what is exciting to you, and you can't let other people ruin what's exciting to you, because people are always going to say things. There are always going to be negative people out there. There's always going to be bullies, and they're going to try to find a way to discourage you because that's how they feel they get some power or sense of identity. But you shouldn't let that affect how you feel about yourself or how you feel about the goals that you want to accomplish. Like, you just have to go for what inspires you, you know, whether it's skateboarding, whether it has nothing to do with skateboarding. If something is exciting to you, you have to follow that, and don't listen to other people unless they're supportive of you. Listen to those people.
Okay. I like those advices. We are about to finish this exciting conversation. The first conversation for this section, this series, the Shit Magazine series. What I want to know, what is the best advice for the competitions, because you know it's a lot of nervous, and I don't know how can you control that when we are in a competition. What is your method, your strategy?
You have to go into every contest knowing that it's just like if you're going skating, you're only competing against yourself. And the moment you start focusing on what other people are doing, and then you're like, oh, I can't do that. Oh, dang, they're really good. Like, I don't belong here. Like, that's the moment you're giving up on yourself. At the end of the day, you need to come up with what you're excited about landing, you know, what you can do, like the peak of what you know you can do. And if you land that, if you do what you set out to do, then it just doesn't matter what place you get, you know. Even if you even if you don't do what you wanted to do, at least go for the things that excite you and the things that you want to accomplish, and don't base it on what other people are doing in their runs or their lines. Because I mean, at the end of the day, that's what skateboarding is. It's just about pushing yourself and not really comparing yourself to other people.
Okay, that's nice. And last advice for this conversation.
Lots of advice.
The advisor, the skater advisor right here. What would be your advice for a skater who wants to live because of skateboarding, who wants to earn money thanks to skateboarding, and maybe travel around the world? Because, you know, I think that the dream that everyone has as a skateboarder is to be like in the X Games, in the street league. But it's difficult. It's not as easy as we think when we start with this. So what is the best advice that you can give? Not for a skate brand, but for a person that has the skills but doesn't know how to make it real, make it happen.
Yeah, that's a hard one, because it's not easy to try and make money as a skateboarder. But there are more and more avenues in which you could do that all the time. So you kind of have to figure out where you fit in. For example, some people are just making their own path just through getting a lot of Instagram followers or doing a YouTube channel. So you can completely get in control of that and do that yourself. But also, if you don't want to do that route, you can just really work on the relationships that you have with brands that may support you or that you want to support you, and establish that connection. And then at the end of the day, you have to ask. You could be like, well, listen, I've been sending you some clips. I've been riding for you for a long time. There's this contest I really want to go to. I need some support. And they might say no, and that's okay, but they might say yes. Like, they're not going to get mad at you. They're not going to get mad at you, if they need to say no. And there's a lot of other brands out there too that aren't necessarily in skateboarding, but you never know, like, who you can contact and reach out to that might want to support a skateboarder. Maybe it's like a clothing brand, maybe it's like a nutrition brand, or all these other companies. They're getting really excited about skating, and more skaters are being featured by different types of products. So there's money out there,
Yes.
if you need to find it to support your dream, and you're really pushing yourself and progressing, and you're at that level. You just have to get creative about the ways to find it, because some of the core brands, they might not care about contests, or they might not have that kind of a budget, but there's other ways to do it. So it's just find what works for you. Just reach out. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Okay, it's just being creative and have a lot of passion for this. It's the
and you gotta just put yourself out there. it's not just going to come to you. Like, even if you have
Yes.
sponsors, they're not just going to be like, we're going to give you this. You have to ask. You have to put yourself out there. Nothing's going to happen badly to you if they say no. Like, it's okay. People say no to me all the time. Like, you're not really losing anything, right? So you got to ask.
We need to ask. And talking of that, did you have the support? Did you have the support when you start with this cause of empower the girls? How was the support in that time? Did you receive a lot of too many no's or?
Oh man, when we're looking for sponsors every year, we get way more no's than yeses. Like, way more. It's crazy. But you just have to keep asking. Like, you don't know. Someone else might say yes. You can't let a couple no's discourage you. We probably have 90% no's from sponsors and like 10% yeses, but the 10%,
Yeah,
it
and
can
the
add up.
results talks for you, no? When you start to have the results, the sponsors may say like, okay, she's someone we need to support. Yeah, it's a process.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. When you show that like what you're doing or what you're going for is worth their investment, then you'll just keep getting more and more support. But yeah, you just gotta go for it.
We need to go for it. I need were very good advices for all the skateboarders right there. And yeah, I think that that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this talk. Excuse me because of my English. I am Latin. Maybe
Oh, your
I have
English is great.
some mistakes and my wall. You remember? But yes, I think that you're just doing a great job right there, and I hope I can see and we can see more of you, not only in the activism part, but in skating part. I want to see you more in your skate. And yeah, that's it. I
Well,
hope
thanks so
you
much.
enjoyed this.
Thank you for the support. Thank you for having me on. Your English is amazing, and your wall is great too.
Okay, thank you for that. Okay, keep it fresh and good vibes. Let's skate.
Thank you. Have a good day. Good
Have
weekend.
a good day. Bye, Amelia.